All right, y'all, welcome back to the Cum Bun Arms channel. Okay, so today we're doing another gear review for you guys, and today we have another plate carrier. So this one was interesting because one, it looks awesome. When the company reached out and actually offered to send me this, I was like, damn, that looks pretty freaking sick, especially for the price. And again, like the multicam tropical is kind of a vibe, especially with like the MO5 camo. So once I actually saw it, I was like, damn, this is pretty sweet. So this is the UTA X-RAPTOR Universal Armor Plate Carrier. So this is from Tactical X-Men. I haven't heard about the company or the website previously until they reached out. And I gotta say, they have a lot of really interesting stuff on their website. And again, a lot of it is for very cheap, but for the quality, it's kind of surprised. I really didn't know what to expect. But for just the features and the quality, and again, we'll kind of get into all of it. Yeah, I was pretty surprised. So I was happy to do a review on this one. So I've taken this to the range about 3 times already. And I gotta say, it's very comfortable. That's kind of like the first thing that comes to mind is just how comfortable this plate carrier actually is. And again, it's very feature rich for the price. There's a lot of things, a lot of like kind of minute details, again, that they've kind of considered to actually make this plate carrier work very well for you. And again, full transparency, they did send this to me for free for a review. And again, I gotta say, you guys might have seen the post I did on Instagram with this and the MO5, but it just worked super well. So yeah, I gotta say, there are a lot of things to talk about with this particular plate carrier. So I guess we'll just jump right into it. Again, we'll kind of talk about the features, the build quality, the comforts, how well it actually works as a plate carrier. So kind of starting at the top, I gotta say these shoulder pads, they're great. They're very well designed, very simple, very easy to use and comfortable, which is pretty much all you can ask for. You don't want like these kind of over-engineered, very thick shoulder pads. And you don't just want things that are just like, again, kind of just a webbing. That works in some circumstances, but for most plate carriers, it's nice to have a little bit of padding like this. So as far as those shoulder pads, so these are actually removable. So just use some Velcro and then these come off and then you just have the actual strap there. So if you do want to make it a little bit more minimalistic, you do have that option. And again, I gotta say the materials they use on this are very high quality. So I mean, this is gonna last, it's not gonna move. It's got a Velcro, so if you need to adjust like the actual length or the kind of like ride heights, all you need to do is unvelcro it and then just chuck it together and it works. I mean, it worked great. Again, I'm not gonna be worried about that kind of coming loose at any points. And then we have the actual shoulder pad itself. Again, not too thick. It doesn't have any kind of pointy edges that are gonna be annoying when you're kind of, you know, wearing it and it's cutting into your neck. No like seams that are sticking out. Yeah, so really great. And again, you can kind of see here, but it folds in and over itself as opposed to just getting one large piece that kind of just folds over, because then you usually have like some edges to kind of worry about. But again, this is very well designed. So all you have to do is put that on and again, kind of fold it over itself and secure it. And I haven't had any issues with this kind of like sliding back and forth. You can kind of do that. But once I'm wearing it, that thing stays in place very well. You can also see here you have some elastic loops. So if you have like a bladder or you're running some comms, you can actually run wires and stuff through that just for like cable management and kind of tube management, if you will. You can't remove these or move them around. But again, having that there is definitely a great thing to have, especially if you've ever kind of worn a bladder on your back or any sort of kind of camelback system. Having something to kind of secure that tube, especially over the shoulder pad, is nice, or else that thing just kind of bows out and it just kind of goes all over the place and looks a little wonky. Now, other side is pretty similar, but this one has a quick release buckle, as you can see there, kind of like a Cobra clip. So the only difference with actually adjusting this one is it feeds back through itself, and then the adjustment happens on the bottom. So it feeds through this clip here, and you can kind of just adjust it like that. But yeah, I mean, the buckle, again, like I've seen some pretty cheap kind of like Cobra clips, but this one, for again the price of the plate carrier, feels very nice and functions very nice as well. So if you do need to kind of just quickly swipe, you can just swipe that down and then release it. But as far as like, you know, the potential of like something hitting it, I do like how you kind of have to swipe down on it as opposed to, you know, especially if you're shouldering a weapon, potentially one getting snagged and you bringing something up and then hitting it kind of in an upward direction. So really not worried about that thing coming loose at all. And again, it is nice to have that on the traditionally non-firing side, you know, for right-handed people. Because again, when there's buckles, especially on both sides that you can't change out, it's kind of a pain in the butt because sometimes when you actually shoulder your weapon, especially if the butt plate isn't like rubberized or anything, they have a tendency to kind of slide off of the clip a little bit. It's really not that common, but it does happen every now and again. But you cannot change this out. So if you are left-handed, you're kind of stuck with just having this on this side. So that's a consideration for you. But again, for me, I think it works very well, and it is a nice thing to have as far as that quick release is concerned. Now moving down, you have some laser cuts here, as well as some laser cuts in the back for something. I mean, I guess it's kind of nice that it's there. If anything, it makes it like slightly lighter, if you will. But then you have all of the kind of PAL slots, and those are all kind of laser cut as well. Again, very solid quality, not worried about these kind of, you know, fraying or ripping open. No concerns with that at all. You do have some Velcro, which is cut in a pretty funky shape, I gotta say, but it looks pretty cool. So again, if you wanna have like a patch or something, let's see, I can just find one here. So if you have a patch, you can just chuck a patch right there, and yeah, it's nice to have Velcro. Everybody kind of needs that Velcro there. But again, you do have the ability to also accept placards. So you do have the Molly or PALs, but you also have the ability to chuck on a placard, which is nice. So this actually came with these magazine pouches. So let me release those buckles there. Another kind of cool detail there is those buckles have a protective elastic loop. So even if you're not rocking like, you know, a placard or what have you, you won't have these things kind of moving around, making a bunch of noise, kind of shining all over the place, and then it just secures very well. So yeah, that's definitely appreciated. And again, you do have those laser cuts down on the bottom as well, and then that Velcro. So this is great, very versatile. It's not often that you have plate carriers that will accept the Molly or PALs kit, but you can also have those placards and just throw them on. So here's the placard itself. So we have kind of like the bungee setup. You got, of course, like the Velcro or the hook and loop in the back, and then you have your kind of bungees to help secure your magazines. And I gotta say, it's again very high quality, very well made. You got the elastic on the sides, so you have a little bit of flex, but it does hold those magazines very well. And then you do have some extra laser cuts if you want to throw something else on. I don't really like going like 2 levels of stuff, especially when I go prone. I'm just like kind of teetering over that. But yeah, that is an option for you if you want to just check anything else right there. So we'll throw that back on. And I gotta say, these magazine pouches work very well. I'll kind of show that a little bit later once we actually throw it on. But it works for a variety of magazines. So yeah, really not much more you can ask for when it comes to this kind of included placard setup. Now the cummerbund is just great. I gotta say, it is so comfortable. So you have like an elastic cummerbund, so you got that stretch, which is always nice. Again, if you're kind of doing any movements like this, if you're throwing on like another layer, it's not gonna be squeezing your body. You won't have to make any crazy adjustments. So I'm just a big fan of that kind of elastic there. You do have the loop, so if you want to throw some bungees, you can throw some bungees there as well. You have some more cuts, and then again, these are kind of elastic, so you can just throw some magazines there as well. So as far as, you know, magazine space, you can definitely carry a whole combat load with this setup here. So very, very nice cummerbunds. I gotta say, these are very much kind of akin to the Blue Force gear magazine pouches, like the elastic ones. I had those on my Agilite K5, and they work great, but again, just having it kind of built into the cummerbund itself is a really nice thing. And at the same time, if you do have like kind of a Motorola radio or something like this, these pouches are great for that, because then you can just kind of chuck it in, and yeah, you have a very, just like almost like a perfect kind of fit right there for the Motorola's. Oh man, I bet I just triggered a bunch of combo people pulling it by the antenna there. And then you have the actual kind of tube set up here. So you have your kind of pull string here. Works great, it's very easy to find. I've seen a few different mechanisms for how to actually, you know, find this a little bit easier, but really this works great, especially with the kind of knot there. It's very easy to find it. So again, as far as just mounting your tubes, all you have to do is slide it on and then grab that, and then yeah. So as far as having those quick release tubes on both sides, I mean, you kind of see it a lot pretty much with plate carriers. It's almost becoming a standard. It's just nice to have that quick release kind of function. And again, for someone like me who has spent several years in the Marine Corps and Army infantry, it is nice to just have those quick release things sometimes. It's nice in an emergency for sure, but it's nice if you're just, you know, you want to just dump your kit very quickly because you're just kind of exhausted. Kind of fighting your plate carrier, especially with the annoying noise of Velcro, is also super annoying. So if you're in like a patrol base, having tubes is a great way to kind of take off your armor. You know, if that's the security setup you have, it's a great way to take off your armor without, again, just the very loud. That reminds me of a video I found on YouTube a while ago of how to defeat the sound of Velcro.
I've got it on as best as I can get it on, and this is what he taught me.
That's a classic video right there. Okay, and then on the inside, this is probably I wouldn't say my favorite part, but it's nice. These kind of pads here are extremely, extremely comfortable, even kind of like on the inside port. So again, kind of having the ability to have these channels is great. So you get a little bit of airflow on your body. You're not like sweating profusely, getting that kind of traditional kind of stain on your combat shirts whenever you take the plate carrier off. It's nice having those channels. It's nice having the padding, just a little bit more standoff. And again, I imagine if you do get shot, I've never been shot in my plates, so I imagine it'd probably feel a little bit nice to have a little bit more standoff from your body as well. But don't quote me on that because I'm not exactly sure how those physics would work. So yeah, as far as like the sort of traditional mesh, you have these sort of panels here with these kind of air ports, and it works great. Now, something that I never really noticed before is when you have the actual mesh, it kind of holds onto your combat shirt a little bit better. But with this, it's a little bit kind of slick in a way. Works very great. It's very comfortable. It doesn't retain that much heat, but at the same time, sometimes I notice unless it's like really kind of tight, my cummerbund is extra tight, I will notice it shift in some positions. It usually settles back very quickly, but I will notice it'll kind of shift up and slide on my combat top a little bit. So things to consider, but really not something I've noticed too much, maybe like 2 or 3 times when I was kind of like taking a knee and whatnot. And then as far as actually adding plates, pretty standard there. So right now I just have some foam plates in, and then yeah, you can just kind of open it up. There's no like kind of system to be able to put it around the plate and kind of hold that weight a little bit on your shoulders, because sometimes you'll have like a strap that's connected to the top, so you can wrap that around the plate and it just helps with kind of like weight distribution. But again, if your plates fits, you know, fine, there's really no issue. And then it just kind of sits in there. There's no extra strap or securing kind of mechanism. But again, like you get plates that fit for the most part. I haven't noticed any plates shifting around, whether it be these training ones, the polyurethane ones, or some other ceramic plates that I was using as well. So yeah, very simple in that regard. And then moving over to the back. So we have a carry handle, or a pull strap, not a carry handle. I have seen a massive Marine actually use it as a carry handle for one of our little end Marines. Yeah, he just picked him up like a toddler. It was actually pretty impressive. So you do have that there. I will say it's not like totally prominent, but you really don't need kind of like an extra wide pull handle. I mean, this works great. It's got the Velcro, so it kind of keeps it secured whenever you don't need it, so it's not snagging on stuff. So really, again, no complaints there. Stitching is great. You do have some extra loops here if you need to use those, especially if you're trying to attach some other accessories. You have a bunch of laser cut MOLLE, so if you want to attach maybe like, you know, a backpack or a flat pack or something, you do have that option. And again, you have some very interestingly cut Velcro on the back here. I'm not sure, maybe if you get like a giant patch that'll work, but I'm not sure how you do like, anyway, but you got Velcro, and that's always nice. It's always nice to have some Velcro, at least the I don't know if it's the female end or the male end, but yeah, as long as it's not like the plasticky shit that scrapes on everything and just be super loud. So that works great. And then you do have some more down here as well. So yeah, nothing too crazy to comment on the back there. But these magazine pouches do work great. So we have an AK magazine right there. Again, fits it solid. I don't think I really need the bungees, but if I do need to use the bungees, I do have that option. And then of course with an AR magazine, works great. Again, bungees are an option. And then, you know, if you have like an SMG, like a MP5 magazine, that's where the bungees are extra nice, because they can kind of just hold it in place and keep it from kind of like rocking side to side and falling out. So you do have that option. But as far as like actually shouldering different weapons and whatnot, yeah, really, of course, no issues. Having like this kind of almost V shape when it comes to the actual shoulder straps makes it nice because it gives you a nice kind of pocket here to actually shoulder different weapons and not have to worry about you kind of fighting the straps or fighting any clips. So as far as that is concerned, there's really no issues. So we have a little AK here, shoulder's fine. Got an MP5. Again, this has the full stock, so a little bit chunkier, a little bit kind of more in the way, but it works great with the plate carrier. Again, sorry if you're hearing a little bit of crunching, but yeah, that's like almost always an afterthought. But yeah, again, works great with the MP5 to quickly chuck it in that pocket there. And then for some wonkier stocks like the M1014 here, again, no issue with getting that stock in that pocket. So yeah, just works great, I gotta say. And again, just such a comfortable plate carrier. That's really the thing you'll kind of feel the most, is just how comfortable it is. Again, you will have like the slight sliding, especially like with certain magazines, maybe like not with an AR magazine, but with like the AK magazine, sometimes like when you're pulling the mag out, you get a little bit of slide up like that. Doesn't happen too often, especially if you have like a good combat stance, but something to consider. And yeah, that is pretty much it with the UTA X-RAPTOR Universal Armor Plate Carrier from Tactical X-Men. Very comfortable, very solid quality, a lot of features. You can get it from their websites for under $200, and that's kind of a steal when you're considering all of that stuff. So definitely go and check it out. They have a few different colors. If you're not too particular on the Multicam Tropical, I mean, I guess it is what it is. Multicam Tropical, gotta say, is definitely a vibe. I'm gonna be rocking this a little bit more, especially here in the Pacific Northwest. I gotta say, it works super well. If you have like an MO5 loadouts, I know with all my Finnish subscribers, you might have some MO5. You know, this works pretty well as well, matches pretty well. So again, plenty of options out there as far as the colors are concerned. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, definitely let me know. But again, I've been impressed with this plate carrier. It's holding up great. The stitching isn't coming loose or anything crazy after those range trips. And again, I've noticed it's very comfortable, and it's just super versatile, again, with kind of like that nice cummerbund there as far as throwing into magazines, radios, being able to accept placards or Molly PAL stuff. And again, you have all the Velcro that you need, and the shoulder straps aren't miserable, which, yeah, so not a whole lot of bad stuff to say about this. Again, some things to consider with the sliding, and every now and again, I'll kind of feel one of these loops digging in. But again, it's not really something that I've noticed enough to kind of want to comment on, especially like for the video until right now. But yeah, there are a lot of very solid plate carriers out there, but this is a great option. If you guys want to look at some other plate carriers, you can check out the other reviews on my channel. A lot of good options, I gotta say, compared to what it was like, even in like 2012, it was pretty dreadful back then. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked to see what we can get, especially for the price range now. But if you guys have any questions, definitely let me know. But that is it for this video. I'll see you all in the next one. You want to be in my thumbnail?
Yeah.
All right. Just hold your gun like here, like that. Put your left hand here. Yeah, there you go. Okay. All right, and then you gotta just look like kind of here. You can step on this thing actually, and then look like kind of mean. And look at the camera. Okay.